Speakers. Number 3, space.
The time, the future. The place, the depths of interstellar space. Commander Topper Hargreaves of the British Space Corps, serving as both captain and crew of His Majesty's spaceship Churchill, along with his faithful pet dog Duke, is lost and far from home. After a freak meteor shower bumped his vessel off course on the way back to Earth from a routine visit to Moonbase 3, Commander Hargreaves has been trying his utmost to repair his broken navigation system so that he can find his way back home. Alone, in his highly automized spacecraft, he records his adventures in a daily day diary. We present extracts from this diary now in Diary of a Spaceman.
Space date, September the 3rd, 1996. 40th day adrift. Breakfast, 1 egg, bacon, mushrooms, tomatoes, toast, tea and marmalade pill. The egg part of the pill a little runny. No matter, though. Awful night's sleep. Kept dreaming I was trapped in a sealed barrel, hurtling through a vacuum. Don't know what it could mean. Damn dreams and their silliness. They're just silly. Spent all day working on the gyro valves. It seems to me that if I can get them up and running, then I'll at least be able to reroute power from the main turbo drive and see which of the other navigation system's components were damaged in the meteor storm. Fiddly work. The valves are only 3 inches across, and some clown of a technician back at London Spaceport only loaded big screwdrivers in the cabin toolbox, so it's hard to undo the screws and get in there. Headache from all the concentration. Decided to take it easy this evening. I've put some space ballads on the super radiogram, and it really has relaxed me. Sitting here as I write, smoking my pipe, listening to Hubert Noir play a solo on the atomic saxophone. Just what I need. Even Duke seems to be enjoying it, although he has been becoming somewhat tense recently. Think about Anne and her pretty little nose, and try not to get too blue. Early night tonight, I think. I shall jolly well sort those gyro valves out tomorrow. See if I don't. Space date, September the 10th, 1996. 47th day adrift. Breakfast, just a tea pill. Not very hungry. Dreamt again last night. I was a worm in an unopened can that was being thrown through the air. Terribly annoying. Why do we have to dream? Dreams are just so very irritating and senseless and silly. Finally got into the gyro valves. The good news is that one of them is completely undamaged. The bad news is that the other 63 have blown. Seeing as the filament of a gyro valve is irradiated gold, I do not know how I can possibly replace them. It's come as quite a shock, and my first reaction was, to be quite frank, a little on the emotional side. I threw my screwdriver down and swore. I've been eaten up with shame ever since, and I thank God that this is a one-man module and that Duke was asleep when my outburst occurred. Must do my very best not to give in to any of that emotional nonsense again. My only chance, then, is to find gold and then radiate it. The radiation bit is easy. The nuclear engine constantly gives off good, healthy doses of radiation which I can simply scoop up in a jar. The gold, that's a bit more difficult. There is absolutely, to my knowledge, no gold whatsoever anywhere on this spacecraft. Of course, there is gold in the frame surrounding the portrait of King Charles, but, well, I needn't go on. Thought of Anne. Started upsetting myself, rather, with thoughts of Captain Chip O'Malley. I've seen how he looks at her. And she once said, after a spaceport dance, that he had the sweetest smile. I'll give him a sweet smile. But anyway, all beside the point. Need to think of a plan. Space date, October the 2nd, 1996, 69th day adrift. Breakfast, grapefruit and buttered kipper pill, very tasty. Another dream last night. I was some jelly in a shiny cylinder spinning in complete darkness. I must be getting a little stir-crazy to come up with something like that. May have to start sleeping on the control panel. The buttons and dials may prevent me from sleeping too deeply and suffering the illogical ravings of dreams. I hate dreams. They're silly. Have been spending over 3 weeks now contemplating the problem of the gyro valve repair. I keep going over the facts and then going over them again, but, frustratingly, a solution never seems to present itself. I need gold in order to effect the repair. There is no gold available in the spacecraft, apart from the gold in the King's picture frame, but Needless to say, that's where it belongs, and that's where it stays. The fact is that this is a sticky situation. I calculate that there is only enough power for the engines and life support systems to last another 3 weeks. When they run out, the craft will empty of air, causing me to slowly inflate to 20 times my normal size. At the same time, the main body of the craft will gradually condense to the size of a pea. I do not see how I could possibly survive. Still, I'm remaining optimistic. Although Duke has been behaving increasingly oddly, seems to be walking with a limp, can't keep still, won't let me near him. Probably missing Anne. I know I am. Space date, 9th of October, 1996, 76th day adrift. Breakfast, devilled mushrooms, lamb's kidneys, and poached egg pill. The last one of that flavour. Pity. Curse these dreams. They're every night now. Last night I dreamt I was a coin in a collection box which was moving on its own through some sort of void. I felt so annoyed this morning to have wasted valuable brain cells on such absurdity that I nearly cut myself shaving. Luckily, it just felt like I'd nicked myself, but I hadn't actually drawn blood. Close call, though. What a silly dream. Duke now given to whimpering non-stop, closing his eyes and baring his teeth. Really quite worrying. I was wondering if there's any possible way of finding the gold I need for the gyro valves in a place in the craft I haven't looked yet. Turned the whole place upside down from top to bottom. Found a John Buchan novel, a seashell, and nearly 5 space shillings in loose change. But no gold. Only 2 weeks before all systems fail, and I die a death that does not bear thinking about. Besides that, I've been totting up how many stars I've spotted out the cabin window in the last 76 days, and it's well over 47 million. The beauty of the cosmic countryside never fails to move me. Time for a bath, I think, and a nice drinking chocolate pill. I'm absolutely confident that, despite the seeming odds against me, everything will work itself out in the end. Space date, 22nd of October, 1996, 99th day adrift. Breakfast, half a piece of toast pill. Tasted rather mouldy. Yet another ruddy dream. I was some kind of mammal in a fast-moving vehicle that was speeding through a sea of nothingness. Dreams! Will their silly, infernal, silly, ludicrous insanity ever leave me be? Duke, now in a state of constant high-level tension, poor fellow, spends a lot of time jumping up and down. I'd put him out of his misery if I had the heart, but perhaps I won't need to do that. For tomorrow is the day when all systems in the spaceship will finally fail, and I shall necessarily perish. And poor Duke, too. Despite racking my brains constantly, I just cannot think of a way to repair the gyro valves. Not without gold, anyway. There is simply no gold available to me. None at all. Apart from the 3 ounces in the solid gold frame surrounding the king's picture, not an atom. On top of that, food pills are now almost out, and shaving razors are blunt to the point of being unserviceable. I have to start facing the fact that I may not get out of this, and worse, may not get out of this unshaven. I've written a letter to Anne. It says, "Dear Anne, I have died in space. I was terribly fond of you. I know that you loved me dearly, as I loved you. If it should be that Captain Chip O'Malley asks you to be his wife after you find that I am dead and gone, please do not accept his offer. With all my love, Topper." Oh, Anne. Space date, October the 23rd, 1996. 100th day adrift exactly. Well, I'm not a gambling man, and now I understand why. Against all the odds, I am writing this safe on terra firma, having escaped a terrible fate by a matter of minutes. I awoke this morning with only 1 dry Rivita pill left in the pill pantry, having dreamed that I was a man in a spaceship. Blasted dreams. I think these lunatic visions will do for me one of these days. They're so damn silly. But still, to accentuate the positive, just as the life support systems were about to fail entirely, just as I had started to swell and a couple of buttons on my spacesuit had actually pinged off, Through the cabin window I spotted a planet hoving into view. Luckily, the craft rudder mechanism is still functioning, and I managed to steer a course towards the planet before I blacked out. When I came to, I was utterly at a loss to explain where I was. The very first thing I saw, on opening my eyes, was a tree, under which Duke was sitting. In contrast to his odd behaviour in the last weeks, the whining, the crossing of his legs, he looked completely relaxed. But what a tree! A purple trunk with black leaves and white, fruit-like objects hanging off the branches. I tentatively tried one of the fruit-like objects, and they taste just like lamb. Above me was a sky not of blue, but of pink. And then, looking behind me, I saw the Churchill, her nose cone buried in a soft bank of green sand, a little dented here and there, but still looking reassuringly tickety-boo. I had crash-landed safely, was thrown clear of the Churchill, but have suffered no greater injury than a cauliflower ear. And so I've rigged a hammock between the two of these queer trees, and am tucking into a final lamb fruit, as I have called them, and I feel I shall sleep well, and in the morning explore this strange new world. Space date, October the 24th, 1996, 101st day adrift. Breakfast, 2 lamb fruits, scrumptious, and no dreams, not a one. But what a day! I began with a recce around the local area, and I was very pleased to discover that this planet is covered with dense forests of the lamb fruit tree, as far as the eye can see. Had 4 lamb fruits for lunch, and then set about building a storehouse. I shall keep lamb fruits in here, whilst I consider where to start mining for gold, which I need for gyro valve repairs. Although there's plenty of time. Might as well have a little R&R. After all, I've rather been through it lately. 6 lamb fruits for supper, and then spent the evening collecting lamb fruits. Duke seems to like them too. Ah, lamb fruits. Space date, October the 25th, 1996, 102 days adrift. 8 lamb fruits for breakfast, absolutely bang on. Dreamt again last night, but it was actually really rather super. Dreamt about lamb fruits. Spent the day collecting lamb fruits, and then I graded them into size, stacked them very neatly, and then counted them. 780. Going to have to build a larger lamb fruit storehouse. Then I suppose I shall have to think about looking for gold. Ah well, a last lamb fruit, and then to bed. Space date, October the 26th, 1996. 20 lamb fruits for breakfast. Dreamt all night long about lamb fruits. I love lamb fruits. Had to kill Duke. He was eating my lamb fruits. Collected 1,000 lamb fruits exactly. Ate exactly 100 of them. Well, 101. Couldn't resist just one more. We'll sleep under the lamb fruits tonight. Night-night, lamb fruits. Space date, October lamb fruits, 19 lamb fruits. Lamb fruits for breakfast, saw lamb fruits, picked up lamb fruits. Odd thing, looked at my hands, looked a bit like lamb fruits. Went to lake near lamb fruit forest and saw a reflection, very lamb fruity. We'll have to get more lamb fruits, bring them all to me, all the lamb fruits. Feel like a lamb fruit, not just to eat, actually feel like one, and smell like one, smell like a lamb fruit. Ate 647 lamb fruits without stopping. Lamb fruits are really delicious. Just had a wonderful thought. Wonder if I taste like a lamb fruit. I wonder. There's only one way to find out. I do. I do taste exactly like a lamb fruit. Delicious. Yum yum. Lamb fruit. Yum yum. Lamb fruit. Yeah.